So, word on the street is that Taraji P. Henson joined the conversation on Beyonce auctioning Blue Ivy at the Met Gala. And what started as people simply reacting to Beyonce and Blue Ivy's Met Gala looks somehow spiraled into full-on accusations about occult symbolism, secret rituals, and hidden messages buried inside their outfits. Allegedly, according to Taraji, none of it was random. But to be honest, I personally can't blame anyone for thinking that the entire situation was weird, given how Bey herself was speaking in codes and saying that Blue was ready.
Now, B, it's been 10 years.
10 years.
How does it feel being back?
It feels surreal because my daughter's here.
And Blue looks so beautiful.
She looks so beautiful. This is it's incredible to be able to share it with her, and I think she looks so incredible.
She looks so beautiful. I'm like, we could learn some red carpet tips from Blue.
Absolutely.
The way she's posing, I'm like,
she was ready.
She was ready.
Anyway, rumor has it that Taraji had some choice words about the spiritual vibes and them bowing to people who are oppressing the world. And word reportedly got to Mama Tina. Y'all know Mama Tina does not play when it comes to her babies and grandbabies. She has been very vocal lately about how Blue's Met debut was like deja vu and pure joy for the family. So to have a peer like Taraji allegedly leaning into those dark industry conspiracy theories, child, she was not having it. Allegedly, Tina Knowles reached out to have a very direct conversation with Taraji after hearing about those allegations. Guys, allegedly, it's been super chaotic, so let's just get into it. Okay, y'all, we know that Taraji spent the whole week leading up to the 2026 Met Gala acting like she was the moral police, slamming A-listers for attending a Bezos-backed event and literally asking, "What are we doing?" on Instagram. She even posted that shady story about Amazon warehouse conditions and told everyone to enjoy the Met with the heaviest sarcasm ever. Well, allegedly, behind the scenes, she was doing so much more, and even going into details about how Beyonce is a sellout because she co-chaired the Met and how she had Blue Ivy there as well. Honey, I get that whatever Taraji was saying is something that many people pointed out, but the problem is that there's a bit of hypocrisy when it comes to her. People are pointing out that Taraji was all over social media acting confused about why celebrities were even attending the Met Gala because of its ties to Jeff Bezos, and she was basically calling the whole event unauthentic and performative. However, the Bayhive was quick to remind everyone that Taraji's own hair care line, TPH, is a massive seller on Amazon. So for her to reportedly come for Beyonce and Blue's industry ties while she's collecting those Bezos checks, it's giving hypocrisy. But that's not all, guys. Allegedly, behind the scenes, Taraji was also fueling those conversations about Beyonce and Blue Ivy being involved in some sort of ritual or initiation. Well, on this, she was also not alone, because people have been pointing out the creepiness and the energy the Carters were giving at the Met, and I'm gonna break it down for y'all. First of all, let's talk about Beyonce at the Met Gala for a second, because the symbolism behind the dress was low-key dark as hell. Initially, some people were saying Beyonce looked like the Statue of Liberty, but after people started digging deeper, a lot of folks realized that the dress was actually inspired by an art piece called The Visitor by Caroline Duro, a Creole artist from Louisiana. And baby, the artwork is literally a skeleton figure standing at somebody's door. I mean, how creepy is that? Now, the piece was created in 1944, and it symbolizes mortality, death specifically, an unwelcome presence of death. And when you go back and look at Beyonce's Met Gala dress again, it starts to feel very intentional, especially because the Met Gala theme this year leaned heavily into dark artistic expression and the human body. But here's the thing, the whole point of The Visitor is that it's standing at a threshold. And who was standing right there with her? Blue Ivy. Of course, it doesn't help that Blue was literally in a gown as if to indicate that she was being married off. People are even saying that Blue's shoes matched with Beyonce's dress, symbolizing that she was walking in her mother's shoes now. And I thought that was very interesting to see because her shoes really did match her mother's dress and didn't even correlate with her dress. Based on all this, the conclusion people made was that Sasha Fierce was being transferred, or has already been transferred to Blue, and it all happened during the event. And then you got Jay-Z standing there in a more classic, old-school tuxedo while he's already under so much public scrutiny right now. Jay-Z was low-key looking like a groom, and to a lot of people, it looked as if he was marrying his daughter off. Basically, Beyonce's dress symbolized death of some sort, like it's the end of her, but the beginning of Blue's notoriety and career, and like the face of the industry. I don't know, the whole family presentation just felt symbolic. Anywho, another thing people kept pointing out is that Beyonce did keep pointing everything back to blue. She kept saying, "She's ready. Blue's ready. Yeah, I'm here for blue. I'm looking through the eyes of blue." To a lot of people, once she started to refer to everything concerning blue, that was signaling something so much more deeper. Then something else that people have been questioning is the timing of this entire alleged transfer. Like they really had to do it when blue was not even of age? At an event where kids are not even allowed. Y'all know that since 2018, the Met Gala has had a strict age limit of 18, and the official reason was that organizers claimed the event is an adult-oriented fundraiser and not an appropriate event for people under 18. And honestly, I would understand why. I mean, the atmosphere is usually curated for adults, and the Met is also full of priceless, fragile art, and having a bunch of teenagers running around, even famous ones, is a massive insurance headache. And as much as there have been teens in the past, that rule was put in place because they realized the event is just not conducive for kids. So, what was so special about blue that she just had to attend? Well, allegedly, a special exception was carved out for teens accompanied by their parents, and that it's the celebrity equivalent of a PG-13 rating. If the parents are icons, the kids get a pass. Word on the street is that the new parental accompaniment clause was quietly added this year, and they are even calling this the Blue Ivy Clause because it feels like it was designed specifically to let the Carters debut their heir. And by the way, they had blue in Balenciaga, the same brand that was called out for having a campaign that featured young kids holding plush teddy bear bags dressed in leather harnesses, studded collars, and BDSM-style fetish gear. Then, shortly after the first controversy, a second campaign for the garde-robe line was scrutinized because one photo featured an office setting with various papers on a desk, and one of the documents was a printout of the 2008 Supreme Court ruling United States versus Williams. Literally, this specific case upheld the constitutionality of a law that criminalizes the pandering or solicitation of porn featuring kids. I mean, don't you think it's a little hypocritical and dark for a parent to dress their baby in a brand that was so recently embroiled in an exploitation scandal? Honestly, I wouldn't blame anyone for believing this entire appearance was an initiation, and that the choice of Balenciaga is seen as a deliberate nod to the dark side of the industry. And based on what I've heard, allegedly, this entire situation just had Taraji clowning both Beyonce and Blue behind the scenes. Well, for many people, she was finally saying out loud what everyone else was thinking, which is that something deeper and more spiritual was going on behind the scenes. However, based on reports, Tina is reportedly making it clear that while everyone is entitled to their opinion, coming for a blues spirit and calling their public introduction dark is a line you just don't cross in this industry. Allegedly, she also pointed out that Taraji is being a bit of a hypocrite asking why people support bad industry leaders while she makes money through her own business deals with those same companies. And you know there are people who agree and say that Taraji is just spiraling after getting dragged online for her own hypocrisy before the Met even started. Because while she was calling celebrities fake for attending the event, people immediately brought up her Amazon business deals, her support for R. Kelly, as well as her close friendship with Russell Simmons. Baby, this is definitely a feud I never saw coming, but I'd sure love to know what you think. Do you also believe that the Carters were initiating Blue into something? And do you think it's hypocritical for Taraji to call out people who were at the Met? Sound off in the comments section below.